Hello, my lovely spectators. Dee Dee here, and welcome to my studio. And to today's video, which is on Sunday, the 4th of January, 2026, I'm doing a voiceover. Trying something a little different. You guys let me know whether or not this is your jam. And I may be incorporating this style every so often when it's something that's a little longer, because I know some of the longer videos are just not what people are looking for. So today I'm going to do Sundays. Shop your stash. We hold on to so much that we need to stop hoarding, and today it's my Tim Holtz. So as crafters, as paper lovers, as loving the bits and the bobs and all that good stuff, we have our stash, our collection, our supplies, our hoard, and we are not using it because the what ifs. Oh, it's so pretty. How do I use it? Oh, it's so pretty. Or maybe I won't find it again. But we are creatives, and it is our duty to use all the goodies. It is our joy to use all the goodies, and so why not use all the goodies? So on Sundays, I'm going to bust into my stash, grab something that I have had for a minute, use it, and make something. And hopefully you will come along on the journey with me. So Sundays, for the next few Sundays, will be about Tim Holtz and this waterfall journal. Blah, blah, blah. So here am I. Also letting you know that most of this video is sped up like 2 times because, again, it's a process of looking at things and searching and putting it together without really knowing what I plan. Because I kind of sometimes plan. So I had a plan. I wanted to do the waterfall journal. Why am I having a hard time with that word? The waterfall journal, which I've seen on a couple of different other places, such as Seven Plaza with Margaret. I think she did one. I think Gail Castellanelli did one. So it looks so cute, and I just wanted to do it. And I figured, I think Gail used the Tim Holtz. Anyway, I'm selecting my paper from the backdrops. The backdrops are 6 inches by 10 inches, and I'm trying to figure out how to score. I know that a lot of times they're like, oh, we don't need to measure. You do you do it here, you do it there, you do it wherever. But I know that some of you also want to have some more guidance. So if I can figure out a way to give you some of that information, I'm going to by all means try. So if you've been watching as I've been yapping, you've seen me turn the paper several times around. Now, they are directional in that, you know, there is font, there is writing. Can we read it? Not always. But there seems to be a sense of what's up, what's down. So what I'm trying to do is figure out where to score in order to have that waterfall effect and have things written in the right way. So I'm really looking at my book starting from the left to the right, and then having those fonts, for some reason, read where I turn my head to the left to read, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is it to the left? No, to the right. Because, you know, we're right dominant in this world. I'm sorry, lefties, and whatnot, for the most part. So I'm scoring and at every 1/4 of an inch in order to get these things to be consistent in their spacing. It's so funny because you score and then you put it, and then when you come back, you forgot where you scored it at. You saw that? And so you got to figure out, was it at the half? So now do I need to go to 3/4, etc., etc., etc. So every now and then I have to recenter myself, check my measurements, and kind of like put it in to the proper location. So it kind of threw the coloring off from my intention, but it all works out because they're all very tone on tone and kind of like almost a monochromatic feel. So I wound up using 12 sheets of paper. Initially, I had only taken out maybe, I don't know, I want to say 8, 10 maybe. This one I'm struggling with because it's that postcard and it has that line in the middle. So I was kind of trying to avoid that because these are going to have lines, but they're not going to be right there. So here it is, me pulling out more. So I think I started out with like 10, maybe 9, but I wound up needing a few more to continue that 1/4 inch stagger until they lined up completely. Oh my god, I had to do a little edit there. Hopefully it wasn't that bad. I didn't overlap my voices, but anyway. The video has stopped playing on me and I wasn't seeing what was happening anymore. So that was what was freaking me out. So as I was saying, I wanted to continue that 1/4 inch stagger so that everything lined up. The middle ones wound up being exactly in half. So you have that double, but you don't really see it in the waterfall. But I am going to give you some measurements now to kind of help you build one. Okay, so I took a couple of notes, give you an idea. With the backdrops being 6 by 10, you would need about 12 sheets, or you would need 12 sheets. Check your orientation. Think about how you want it to look when you face it from the left to the right. Start with a 2 1/4 wide page and increase by 1/4 until you get to 5 inches, which is the page being folded in half. That's going to give you a use of 12 sheets of paper, which once folded, you'll have 24 pages, some much shorter than the others for the stagger, and then again, 48 sides to decorate and add all the little goodies and the bits and the other things that will be coming up in the next few Sundays. Okay, so that said, I have the crease already, and I took out my kit. I don't know what happened to the first me punching the holes. That video is completely gone. But basically, it's 6 inches. I went to the 3 inch, and then an inch from each of the tops, and punched the holes with the awl. So I am doing a 3-hole pamphlet stitch on this. So if you're not familiar, this is going a little bit fast, but you go into the center, and you leave some extra left over. You go down or you go to the top, whichever is your choice. One of the other holes, you pass the center, you go up through to the other hole that will take you back on the outside of the spine of the 3-hole, and then you want to go back in the middle, making sure that when you go, you don't pierce the other thread, and that you're on either side of that middle long thread. And that's it. A couple of knots and you're good to go. So super easy. I guess you could do it with staples if you could find something that would staple between 12 sheets of paper. But this type of binding, especially if you're not putting an actual cover on it, it makes sense. I could eventually, I guess, add this into something else, but for right now, I'm just as a standalone. The little whatever it is, this little front page that's 2 1/4 is my cover, so to say. Here I am just kind of like training the pages. This is something that I didn't do the first few times that I was doing the pamphlet stitch. So it's important. These papers are thick. Tim Holtz papers are kind of thick card stock. So you kind of want to let the journal know what it's supposed to be doing, because it's not going to lay flat. Initially, it was like, what? See how it's puffing up? So after doing that, you're going to be able to get to see it more relaxed. Okay, this jumped right into me distressing. All I'm doing is I'm taking a pair of scissors and rubbing it on the edges. So I'm setting up the journal and all of that base needed items, the processing of it. So I want the grunge, I want the weathered, I want the aged. So I'm just jumping around, scraping it up back and forth. I am aggressive when I'm doing this, and I'm aggressive when I'm inking. I'm kind of on the heavy-handed side, but it's fine. I don't mind it. If I know that I want to ink something and I want to be gentle with it, I probably would go a little slower. Mind you, that's not how fast I'm going. It's on double speed, but nonetheless, I am grunging it all up. So transition, not really transition, to showing you that for the most part, they're all done. I've got these digs and these, it's on the bottom. I've got pieces that I've ripped. I've left everything intact. It made a mess. I'm trying to dust it off a little bit. And then now I need to go about doing the next part of setting up this base, which is going to be the inking. I decided to use the ground espresso oxide, And so I'm gonna take the next few minutes to do that. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of that as well. Since we have all of the edges being like the whole booklet edge, the top and the bottom, I just decided to do a quick on the top to try to kind of get some of that done so that it's not as intensive when I do each page. So I'm like trying to dig into the ink. I think I need a new inker. I think I need a re-inker. I'm not sure. I had some kind of refresh spray from Ranger for distress, but I wasn't clear if it was oxide or not, but I needed it to be a little more juicy, so I wound up spraying it. So I don't know if I messed up my pad or not. What is the difference between the oxides and inks? Why do they tell you you can't mix and match? What is that one element that will mess it up? Anyway, if you know, let me know in the comments below. So I'm trying to get this as brown as I could, knock back as much white on the bottom and the top as I can, because this is going to be a lengthy process. And now I'm going to go to each page. So I'm showing you a little bit of that, getting in there and really, trying to grunge up. If I have a little tear, want to try to get rid of some of that white to make sure that it is well loved looking and very grunged and ready to go. I will tell you that this process made a mess. One, the dauber, that head needed to be redone. And this needed like a total desk cleaning because it was just a mess. Anyway, here is the final vision of the pages all grunged. Like I said, I still see a lot of white in there, and it was just not, coming out. I think that was less ink. I need a little bit more juice to the pad. I'm showing you that even the creases, I went into the creases and I darkened those and added some grunge in there. Some places are a little more heavy-handed than others, but all in all, a nice grungy, distressed so far kind of look. I'm really now also seeing where the pages are and what I have going on there. And so I was gonna stop here and be like, oh, let me just upload the video, but I said, well, what else can I put? Because I'm like, I see all of that, and you're gonna be handling all of those little leaves of 1/4-inch leaves and stuff like that. But I decided that I wanted to add some tabs. So I'm gonna show you my process, because again, we're hoarders. I am hoarder. Yes, I am. And I basically want to add some tabs to it, but I'm using the paper. I'm using the Tim Holtz paper. So I need to figure out how to, not be wasteful with it, because it's all precious. This is that craft sided paper. So if you, you'll see me playing with it, but you can actually distress it. So I was looking, I was like, yeah, that color is good. I was not really looking for another color. And I think the darker green was just too dark for me. There was also a blemish over here, which was fine because I was going to distress them anyway. So I'm trying to figure out how to best do this. So I take out another tab, because when you have leftover papers, I like to punch tabs and stuff like that. And I have a bunch of scraps. I still have to do that too. But another way to kind of repurpose your tabs, your scraps, is to just make tabs. So here I'm measuring, and I see that when it's open, after it's been punched, it is about 2 inches, just a little bit over. So I figure that I need to have like 1 inch depth, or 1 inch and like 1/8 or so depth. So I take the paper and I take out my trimmer and I go get my little stylus, and I'm gonna score the paper so that I am gonna punch into the paper far enough, right? So here I am. Look, let me catch up to the video. Let the video catch up to me, right? So I'm scoring at 1 and like it's like 1/8, just about, because it was like it needed to be like just under 2. It was about 2 1/4. So 1 1/8 on each side, right? This one has the little stopper, so it tells me where to go, And then I'm trying to see where the edge of the paper is, so that I can line it up with the edge of the tab and not be wasteful at all. And then I'll move over, and then I'm looking for where it was just punched and just scooching over slightly. And again, you see me peek and scooch over. So I have very little space between the tabs. There's not room for a third one. Okay, so now I'm figuring out, okay, well, how am I going to address this? So I said, but you know what? I'm never going to get this little edge. So it wound up being about 1 inch. So even though I had a little score on the top, doesn't matter. I took the whole inch off because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to use anything else. I took my 2 inch and a quarter off, and I'm cutting the rest at 2 1/4. And this one was just under 2 1/4, but it still worked out because remember, it was under 2 1/4. Anyway, we're going to score all these because I'm going to make a bunch of tabs. So I wind up getting 12 because from the 6 inches, I cut off the inch. So from 5 inches wide, I was able to punch out 3 across, and I was able to, out of the 10 inches, get 4 sheets of, paper. So that's, again, this is my punch, but you saw my process, and I'm giving a little more clarification as to what, I was pointing that it had went and gotten a little marred there. Okay, so I'm gonna pop them all out and just, I don't know why I'm laying those things out like that. Like I can't count that there's 4 of them there. So the little pieces that get stuck, if you look at the shape of what you're supposed to be cutting out and something else gets stuck in there, you kind of want to know that so that you can get it out so it doesn't cause any problems with your punch. So one of the little inserts had gotten like hung up in one of the punches, and it finally came out when the second tab was punched on the second strip. So I'm glad that happened. And so yeah, so I have all of these, scrap pieces, and I'm just laying them out because I actually said, well, can I incorporate them into the journal? Because again, hoarder over here. So but then I decided against it, making sure my punch is clear, showing you the punch that I have, and now I'm going to be distressing them. So I basically sit here for like a minute because again, this is sped up, and I'm distressing it. So it is making it lighter than the green. It is making it brown in color, and I was like, well, am I going to distress this and then wind up adding ink to it? Because then I could have just added brown ink to it. So I did remember that you could distress across them. So I did fold them. I did grungy them up. And so, I took some time doing that. I'm going to show you my little design layout thing for the tabs right now. So I opened my tab 2 1/4 width. I scored down the middle because I can get 12 tabs out of the one paper. Okay, back to this. There we go. I got 12 tabs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attach them. Now, this may seem contrary to what other people have done in the past. And again, my way of crafting, I don't even remember. I did the challenge. I introduced the small crafty creator challenge. And one of the things was, what's your style? And eclectic, haphazard, whatever. I'm not that big of a matchy necessarily. I don't feel like the tabs needed to line up in any particular way. I wasn't measuring them. I was just looking to see if they looked interesting. So there's nothing that's lining up. Since I had 12 tabs and I had 24 pages of, of the journal, I just decided to do every other page, so that I would have a tab. So I didn't put it on the last page. So I started with the second to last page from the long side and worked my way forward. So the front has it. Yeah, I just laid them down there and I just was looking at them. I scooched them around, trying to, what's really hard to do? Randomize. That's what is hard to do. So I got them into a position sort of like how I liked it. And then I kind of like turned it and then started to glue it. But check out what I did. I did this. Yes, I took those little bits out because Hoarder, and they will show up sometime later. You gotta laugh. You gotta love it. Anyway, so here it is, guys. This is my lovely waterfall. This is what we're going to be seeing on the next few Sundays. I thank you so much for watching. Please, give me some insight if you would like to. I love to hear from you guys. But until next time, I will see you. So, ciao, ciao. Bye.